Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning into my video today. My name's Sam, and I have a video or a channel on YouTube that talks about scriptures and basically Christian content, theology, and other things that might interest me. Hopefully, basically, what I want to do with these videos, they're basically like reflective sermons or meditations that I've spent time thinking about and want to share with people. So they're related to the gospel, and I hope that they're edifying and helpful for you. So today we're going to be talking a little bit. I've been doing a series through the beginning, creation, the creation of God, and then the fall. And so 3 videos ago, I have one called The Broken Image, which talks about creation, the fall of human beings, and the image of God that was in us that we lost because of sin. And so today I'm going to deep dive a little bit more into Genesis chapter 3 and talk about some of the content that is in that chapter. So the Genesis chapter 3 discusses the events of the fall. Now, it doesn't discuss necessarily the events leading up to the fall, which is important to remember. We don't have a clear dramatization of the fall of man, besides the entry of the serpent, for which no origin is truly named in the Genesis chapter. There's no explanation of where the serpent came from or what it is. The only thing is that it's one of the beasts of the field, and so it's a creature, and that through it was used as an instrument of evil, and it shows that evil was in the world or in the garden, and this evil had not yet influenced man. And we see the form of this evil take place, and it begins in the form of a serpent. So the serpent, it says, was crafty, and it was able to somehow, we're not really sure, but it was able to speak to human beings. There is another account of an animal being able to speak to a human being in the Bible as well, a donkey, in the case of Balaam in the book of Numbers. But this serpent, we don't know if it was a telepathy or some kind of, it doesn't matter, but it was able to speak to human beings and influence them towards disobedience, towards breaking away from the Creator. And so this serpent, it was using deception, but it masks its deception in the form of wisdom and knowledge, and even deeper than that, in the form of knowledge of God and His Word. And so that's important to remember, because the Word of God came to man and gave man a commandment, and man and woman had the commandment, and it was clear, and it was a clear, both the commandment had two forms to it. One was a form of freedom, that they can eat from any tree in the garden. Any of the trees in the garden they can eat. And then there was also a prohibition, which was they can't eat of this one tree in the midst of the garden. So when the serpent tempts Eve, he uses that knowledge of the commandment, but he emphasizes the prohibition and muddles up the freedom on the one hand and the prohibition on the other. The prohibition was given to man by God for his protection, and in a sense was to preserve him in his limit for which Adam didn't know that he had a limit, but that limit was to reveal to him his own creatureliness, the what he had been endowed with by God. His image of God was limited, and his nature was limited. But it's not until after the transgression that Adam understands that he is limited, and then not embraces this limit, but hates it and sees it as the envy of God. So anyways, going backwards a little bit, the serpent shows them the limit, basically. Says, did God actually say you cannot eat of any tree in the garden? So he inverts the freedom that God had given to human beings and says that the entire freedom that they had was a prohibition. I'm not sure if I put that the right way. But then Eve corrects him, of course, and says something that's true. Yet this serpent still carries within it a form of knowledge that is enticing to Eve. And she associates this knowledge with the tree of knowledge. And but she says, no, we can eat any of the trees in the garden, but we can't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil that is in the midst of the garden, and neither can we touch it, or else we'll die. And if you notice something, this is, I don't want to nitpick here, but this is important, that she says, neither can you touch it. This was not in the original commandment. This was something that was added to the commandment. So it may indicate the first time that the commandment of God was left up to human interpretation. And here's the serpent also interpreting, but the woman says, neither shall you touch it. So she actually goes beyond what was commanded and adds that on. And it's almost as though she's protecting herself from further danger by touching it. And this